say introduction. Plato discuss the Plato theory of ideas. Discuss Plato's theory of ideas. Plato explains the theory of ideas. The state in his famous work, The Republic. Plato explain the theory of ideas state in his famous work The Republic. He he discussed Plato theory of ideas state. Plato explained the theory of ideas in his book in his famous work The Republic. He was deeply concerned with the problem of he was deeply concerned with the problem of justice and behavior that perfect organization state alone could not ensure justice. And believe that a perfectly organization a perfectly organized state alone could ensure justice. Believe that a believe that a organized perfectly organized state alone ensure justice. Alone could ensure justice. Harmony and happiness. Plato ideal state is ethical and philosophical and utopian in nature. Plato ideal state is ethical. Plato ideal state is ethical. Plato ideal state is philosophical, and utopian in nature. Plato ideal state is ethical. Plato ideal state is philosophical. Plato ideal state is philosophical. Plato ideal state is philosophical, and utopian, utopia in nature. Harmony and happiness could ensure justice, harmony and happiness. Plato ideal state ensure ideal state is ethical. Plato ideal state is ethical, philosophical and utopian in nature. Utopian in nature. ठीक है Plato का discuss Plato theory of Plato discuss theory of political theory of ideal state in his famous work The Republic. He, he was deeply concerned with problem of problem of justice. Problem justice. He believed that a a perfectly organized 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 system alone could handle a state alone could handle organized state alone could handle so justice, harmony and happiness. Plato ideal state is ethical, ethical, constitution, philosophical and utopian in nature. See, basics of ideal state, basics of ideal state. Plato ideal state is based on principle of justice. Plato ideal state is based on principle. Plato ideal state. Plato ideal state is based on Plato ideal state is based on principle. Plato ideal state is based on principle. Plato ideal state is based on principle. Plato ideal state is based on principle of justice. Plato ideal state is based on principle of justice, which means everyone performing his own duty, based on the principle of justice. Feudal ideal state is based on the principle of justice, which means every class, everyone performing his own duty without interfering the work of others, without one duty or doing according to his nature, according to his natural ability, without interfering in a work of without interfering without interfering in the work of the duty of others. The state is designed and state is designed to promote unity and moral excellence. State is designed for promoting unity and excellence. Promoting unity, promote designed to the state is designed to promote unity and moral excellence based on ideal state. Based on ideal state. Your ideal state. As ideal state is based on principle. Plato ideal state is based on Plato ideal state. Plato ideal state is based on justice, based on the principle of justice, which means everyone doing their own job without performing performing his own duty with, her natural ability without interfering of work of others, interfering of work of others. It ensures stability of other. The state is designed to promote unity and moral efficiency based on base of nature, basics of the state, basic of ideal state. The state बेसिक जैसे में क्या था उसमें इसको ड्यूटी लगाना अपना बेस्ड ऑन जस्टिस ऑफ द based on principle of justice. Based on this means state is designed to promote justice and unity. Class division. To divide society into three classes. Class division. Class division में क्या था? To divide society into three parts. Ex-rulers, rulers, philosopher king. Rulers, philosopher king. Govern the state with govern the state with wisdom and reason. Govern the state with govern the state with wisdom and knowledge. Wisdom and reason. The govern the state wisdom and reason. Exulius soldiers define define the state and maintain internal order. Define the state define the state and maintain internal order. 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 Products, products. Farmer, farmers or artisan and trader who provide economic support. Producers, farmer, artisan and traders, trader, trader who provide economic support. Farmers, artisan, and traders who support economics, who support, who provide economic who provide economic support, ठीक है. Justice exists when each class performing each assigned functions. Justice exists when each justice exists when each class doing performing performing his assigned subject, assigned function. Assigned function. Philosopher king. We don't believe that only philosopher who is like true. We don't believe that only philosopher process the knowledge knowledge of justice, true knowledge of justice and truth, true knowledge of justice and truth. Therefore, the state should be ruined by philosopher. Therefore, the state, therefore, the state should be ruined by philosopher king who were selfless, who are selfless, wise, and moral superior. Who who has selfless, wise, and therefore states should be ruled by philosopher king. Therefore, uh, the the state ruled by philosopher king who possessed who are selfless, wise, and moral superior. ठीक है. Philosopher king that were Plato believed that philosopher possessed true knowledge true knowledge of justice and truth. Truth. True knowledge of justice and truth. Therefore, the, the therefore the ruler should be philosopher. Therefore, the ruler should be philosopher who who has who has who is strong, is intelligent, who is strong, who is selfless, wise, and promotes justice and moral superior, morality superior. Education play a central role in ideal state. Education play a central role in ideal state. It is started state control. It is state controlled and based on merit. It is state control. Education play a central role in ideal state. It is based on merit. It is state control and based on merit. It is state control based on merit. Through the proper proper system, through a proper system of education, through the individual are trained and selected for appropriate roles. Through a proper system, of education, through a proper system of education individual are trained, and selected for selected for appropriate appropriate roles, selected for appropriate roles. Communism, communism of property and family, communism of property and family. To remove selfishness and ensure unity, Plato proposed communism of property and are are family for rulers and soldiers. Private property is allowed only for producers. Communism of property and family. Communism of property and family. to remove selfishness and ensure unity. Plato proposed communism of property, communism of property and family for rulers and soldiers to prove to remove selfishness and injustice and to promote to remove selfishness and ensure unity to remove selfishness and ensure unity. The Plato announced Plato proposed communism communism in communism for of communism of property for the ruler and soldier, property and family for the rural and soldier. Provide private property is allowed only private property is allowed only for or producers. Private property allowed only for role of women. Plato support equality of women in education and governance, which was revolutionary for his time. Plato support equality for women in education and governance. It is revolutionary in this time, which was revolutionary for this time for his time. Criticism. Plato ideal state is often criticized by criticized as utopian, rigid, and impractical. His communism and strict class system ignore individual freedom. His ideal state is criticized. His ideal state is often criticized as utopian, rigid, and empirical. His communism and strict class system, and strict class system, and strict class, strict class system, individual and system ignore individual rights. Plato ideal state, the Plato ideal state, it is often criticized for utopian and rigid and empirical. Rigid and empirical. As utopian, rigid and empirical. His his communism and strict class strict class ignore strict class system ignores individual rights. Conclusion: despite criticism, Plato ideal state is a landmark of political philosophy. Despite despite criticism, Plato ideal state is a landmark of the political philosophy. Landmark Plato ideal state is a landmark in political philosophy. It it presents a moral vision. 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 It presents a moral vision of politics. Despite criticism, despite criticism, Plato ideal state, despite criticism, Plato ideal state is a landmark of the political philosophy. Is a landmark. Despite criticism, Plato ideal state is a landmark in a political philosophy. It presents a moral vision of politics. It present moral vision. It present a moral vision in politics. Moral vision in politics. Emphasize justice, education, and good governance, and constitution to and continues to continue to influence political thought even today, and continue to influence political thought even today. ठीक है. It present a moral view on politics. Moral view of politics. It present a moral view of politics. Emphasize notice, emphasize justice, education education and good governance. It is emphasizing it and continuing to influence political thought, continue to influence and continue to influence continue to influence political thought even today. ठीक है, समझ गया. The Plato concept of justice, despite is the Plato concept, Plato ideal state is despite criticism, Plato ideal is landmark is a landmark in political philosophy. Plato it it process view as it, pro, it present it present politics view as a moral vision of politics. It present a moral vision of politics. It present a moral vision of politics. It protects a moral vision of politics. It is so just emphasize justice, education, and good governance, and continue to influence political thought even today. Even today, despite criticism, explain the explain and evaluate Jean Bardeen theory of sovereignty as the foundation of modern political science. Examine and evaluate Jean Bardeen theory of sovereignty as a foundation of modern was was a French political thinker and is regarded as the father of modern theory of sovereignty. Bin Wadi was a French political thinker. Bin Wadi was a French political thinker, and Wadi was a French political thinker. This thinker is is regarded it is regarded as the father of modern theory of sovereignty. The father of modern theory of sovereignty. He explained his ideas mainly in his book. He explained his idea mainly in his book, the Sixth Book of Commonwealth. Sixth Book of Commonwealth. 1576 1576 1576 में लिखा था वो उसी बुक कॉमनवेल्थ Boarding developed the concept of sovereignty to establish political stability period during a period of religious and civic conflict in Europe. Bardin developed a concept of sovereignty. Bardin developed a concept. Bardin developed a concept of sovereignty. Bardin developed a concept of sovereignty to establish political stability. Bardin developed the concept of sovereignty. Bardin developed the concept of sovereignty. Bardin developed the concept of sovereignty to establish political stability. Bardin developed the concept of sovereignty in Bardin developed the concept of sovereignty to establish. Bardin developed the concept of sovereignty to establish 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 political stability during the period of religious and civic conflict during the period of religious and civic conflict in Europe. Control of Europe. ठीक है बार्डिन 1330 से 1300 बार्डिन 1330 से 1300 बार्डिन 1330 से 1396 बार्डिन was a French political thinker. Was a French political thinker. He is regarded as the father of modern theory of sovereignty. Modern theory of sovereignty. Theory of sovereignty. 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 He mainly he explained his idea. He explained his idea mainly in his famous work, the Sixth Book of Conwell. He explained his idea. He explained his idea in his famous book, Sixth Book of Commonwealth, 1576. Uh, Bardin developed a concept. Bardin developed a concept of sovereignty. Bardin developed a concept of sovereignty to establish to establish political stability in the during of religious and civic conflict civic conflict civic conflict civic conflict in Europe. Civic conflict. Meaning of sovereignty. According to Bardin, sovereignty is supreme, absolute, and perpetual power of the state. According to Bardin, yeah, according to Bardin, sovereignty is absolute, perpetual, and invincible, invincible, invincible power of the perpetual. embodying sovereignty is supreme, a supreme, perpetual, supreme, supreme authority, absolute sovereignty is supreme. According to Badi, sovereignty is supreme. According to Badi, sovereignty is supreme. According to Badi, sovereignty is supreme. According to Bardeen, sovereignty is supreme. According to Bardeen, sovereignty. According to Bardeen, sovereignty is supreme. According to Bardeen, sovereignty is supreme, perpetual. According to Bardeen, sovereignty is supreme, perpetual, and according to Bardeen, according to Bardeen, sovereignty is supreme, perpetual, and established for. According to Bardeen, sovereignty is supreme, authority, supreme authority, is supreme, absolute, and perpetual power in the state, meaning the highest meaning it means with the highest authority, which is not, which means the highest authority which is not subject to any other power, either internal or internal, either internal or external. It means is the highest authority. It cannot be subject of any other power, either internal or external. The highest authority. It means the highest authority, which is not which is not subject of any other many other power, either external or internal. ठीक है? Which means highest authority, highest authority, highest authority, which 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 is not not subject of any other power. Main feature of Bardeen theory of sovereignty. Main features क्या main features होते हैं? Meaning of sovereignty. Sovereignty is the absolute perfect meaning. Main features of Bardeen theory of sovereignty. Absolute. So sovereignty is absolute because absolute sovereignty is absolute because the sovereign has the final authority to make laws. Sovereign has the final authority to make laws without consent for of any other authority. Sovereignty is absolute because sovereignty is absolute because sovereign has the has the has the final authority to make laws without the consent of any other authority. Sovereign has the final authority to make laws without consent of any other authority. The consent of any other authority. Absolute sovereignty is absolute. So absolute sovereignty is absolute because sovereign has the final authority to make policies without consent of any other authority. Without consent, make laws without the consents of any other authority. Because the theory of sovereignty, so the sovereignty is absolute because sovereign has the final authority to because sovereignty has the final authority to make make laws without any consent of any other any consent of any other authority. Perpetual, continuous. Sovereignty is permanent and continuous. Sovereignty is permanent and continuous. It does not end. It does not end with the death of a ruler or any death of ruler, but continue with the state. It does not. It does not with the. It does not end with the. It does not end with the death of ruler. It continue to the state. It continue with the state. It continue to with the state. It does not end with perpetual. Sovereignty is permanent and continuous. It does continue. It does not mean it does not end. Does not with it does not with, end with the death of ruler. It continue with the state. But but continue with the state. It does not end with the death of ruler, but continue with the state. Invincible. So it cannot be divided among different countries. Be divided among different countries. Sovereignty cannot be divided among different bodies or person. Cannot be divided different bodies or person. Divided division of sovereignty leads the disorder leads the disorder and weakness of the state. Division of sovereignty leads the leads the disorder leads the disorder leads division of sovereignty leads lawmaking part. The most important lawmaking part. The most important attribute of sovereignty is the power of is the power to make and repeal laws. The most important and attribute of sovereignty. Most important attribute of sovereignty to make laws and repeal repeal laws. Power is make power to make and repeal laws. Power to make laws. Most important attribute of sovereignty to make power of make and repeal sovereignty is the power of make and repeal laws. ठीक है above human laws and but never natural or divine law. Above human laws but under natural or divine law. Above human above human laws but under natural and divine law. Above human laws but above human laws but under natural and divine law. Through the, through sovereignty is above man laws. True sovereignty is above man laws. True sovereignty is above man laws. He is bound. He is bound by. He is bound by nature law. He is bound by natural law, divine law, and moral moral principle. Moral principle bound by. It is bound by natural law, divine law, and moral principle. Contributed to modern political science. Contributed to modern politics. ठीक है, contributed to modern political science से पढ़ेंगे। Political contributed to modern political science, ठीक है। Jim Bardeen theory leads the foundation of modern state system. His idea help in हाँ ठीक है, जीन बार्डिन theory leads the foundation of modern political science. Its help in his idea help in his idea help in Jim Bardeen theory leads the foundation. Jim Bardeen theory leads the foundation of modern political thought, modern political system, His ideas help in establishing establishing centralized authority. It's helping stabilizing centralized authority, strength the concept of natural sovereignty, strength the natural strength strength the concept of natural authority, strength the concept of natural sovereignty, strength the nature of 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 sovereignty. Talk. Emphasize, we establish establish centralized authority, strength in concept of laws sovereignty, provide a theoretical based on modern constitution and legal system, providing a theoretical based on modern constitution, modern constitution based on establish strengthening the concept of national sovereignty, strengthening the concept of strengthening the national sovereignty, strengthening the concept of national sovereignty, strengthening the concept of national sovereignty, providing a theoretical base, base, theoretical base for modern, providing a theoretical base for modern constitutional and legal system, providing a providing a providing a providing a theoretical providing a theoretical base for modern constitution and legal system, providing a theoretical base for base for constitutional and legal system. Criticism and evaluation. Criticism and evaluation. Evaluation. Criticism and evaluation. Criticism evaluation. Criticism evaluation. One, overemphasize on absolutism. Barton theory support absolute sovereignty, lead lead to dictatorship. Barton's emphasize vision theory support Barton theory support absolute sovereignty. This theory leads dictatorship. This which can leads leads to dictatorship. Barton theory barring theories absolute unity. This can be lead to dictatorship. Overemphasize on absolutism. Overemphasize on absolutism. Empirical individuality. Indivisibility. Empirical invincibility. In modern democracies, sovereignty is divided among legislature, executive, and judiciary. Empirical invincibility, indivisibility, empirical. In modern democracy, the sovereignty divided among legislature, administration, and judiciary. Among legislature, executive, and judiciary. In democracy, empirical indivisibility. In modern democracy, the sovereignty divided among legislature, executive, and judiciary. Limited relevance today. Limited relevance. Modern constitution, federalism, modern constitutionalism, federalism, and popular sovereignty challenge bargaining concept. Limited relevance. Modern constitution, the modern constitution, feudalism, and 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 popular sovereignty challenge bargaining theory, bargaining concept. Conclusion: despite criticism, bargaining theory of sovereignty remains a cornerstone of modern political science. Despite criticism, bargaining theory of sovereignty is a cornerstone of political science. Political science. Cornerstone. Despite criticism, Jean Barney's theory of sovereignty study remains remains a cornerstone of co- cornerstone of modern political science. His clear definition of sovereignty help in the development of his modern nation state and countries continues to influence political and constitutional thought. Barring criticism, he clearly definition. His clear definition of sovereignty helped in the development of modern nation state. His clear definition of sovereignty helped the modern state help the help in the development of modern nation state and of continues to influence political and continues to influence continues continues to influence continues to influence political is continue to influence political system and political political thought and thinker. And continues to influence political and constitutional thought and continue to influence political system, political and constitutional thought and influence to and continue to influence political and constitutional system. His clear definition of sovereignty help in development of modern nation state and continue to continue to continue to continue to influence concept of statecraft. Discuss Machiavelli's concept of statecraft with relevance and realism and fragments, pragmatics. Introduction. Niccolo Machiavelli 14 से बयान 14 discuss concept. Discuss Machiavelli concept of statecraft with reference reference to realism and prag, pragmatic reference of realism and pragmatic. Discuss Machiavelli concept of justice concept of statecraft. Discuss Machiavelli concept of statecraft and discuss the Machiavelli concept of statecraft on realism and pragmatic reference to with reference to realism and pragmatic. Niccolo Machiavelli 1400 Niccolo Machiavelli Niccolo Machiavelli 1496 से 1527 Niccolo Machiavelli 1469 से 1527 was an Italian political thinker, Italian political, an Italian political thinker, an Italian political thinker and author of Prince. Niccolo Machiavelli, an Italian political thinker and author of the Prince. He is regarded as the founder of modern political realism. Modern political realism. Machiavelli developed his concept of statecraft by separating politics from morality and religious. Machiavelli developed his concept of statecraft by by separating of morality and religious. By separating politics from moral and religion, morality and religious by and, and by focusing on practical method of acquiring and maintaining power. By focusing on practical method of acquiring and maintaining power. By focusing on real power, practical method, and by focusing on practical method. मतलब practical method पे focus कर सकते हैं. Focus on practical method of acquiring and maintaining power, and focusing on legal method and focusing on practical method of acquiring and maintaining power. Acquiring and maintaining power. And by focusing on real method and real focusing on real focusing on real focusing on real statecraft. Statecraft. Statecraft, according to Machiavelli, means the art of ruling and preserving the state. So statecraft, according to Machiavelli, the art of ruling and preserving the state. That means the art of ruling and preserving the state. So concept statecraft, according to Machiavelli, meaning means ruling art of ruling and preserving the state. Preserving the state. The primary duty of a ruler in ruler is the society established and the ruler is its security. Prime duty of a ruler is prime duty of the ruler is prime duty of the ruler is the security. Prime duty of a ruler is to security, defense, security, stability, and survival of the state. Security, stability, and survival of the state. The prime duty of a ruler is security, stability, and survival of the state. For Machiavelli, the end the the end of the state justify the means adopted by the ruler. Means adopted by the ruler. For Machiavelli, justice and justify the means of and justify and the end of the state. The end of the state justify the end of the state justify the adopt of the state adopted by adopt mean justify state justified the means adopted by the ruler. The means adopted by the means adopted by ruler. Realism and Machiavelli statecraft. Realism in Machiavelli statecraft. Plato plays realism in Plato statecraft. Plot is based on reality, not ideals. Not ideas. Machiavelli reject idealism and focus on how politics actually work, not how it should work. Machiavelli reject idealism and focus on realism. I Machiavelli focus on Machiavelli and reject idealism and focus on how politics how how politics actually work, not how how should be work, not how it should be work, how it should be work, how it should work. Plus pessimistic view on human nature. Pessimistic view on human nature. Pessimistic view on human nature. He believed humans are selfish, ungrateful, and deceitful. He believed humans are selfish, ungrateful, and deceitful. Deceitful. Therefore, a ruler must act accordingly. He believed humans are selfishless, selfish, uh, peacematic, peace, pessimistic view on human nature. He believed that human is selfish. He believed that he believed humans are selfish. He believed that humans are selfish. justify if maintaining the social order, is justify if is help in is justify is help in is justify is justify if in help in in maintaining political order, separation of separation of politics from ethics, separation of politics from ethics, separation of politics and ethics. Separation of political ethics from ethics, separation of political from ethics, separation of politics, separation of politics from ethics. Moral principle cannot guide political action. Political actions, political necessity is more important. Moral principle, moral principle not guide political actions. Political necessity is more important. Separation of politics from ethics. Moral principle is cannot guide political action. Moral principle cannot guide moral political action. The moral principle cannot guide political action. Political necessary to necessary political necessary to more important. Political necessity. Political necessity is more important. Pragmatic pragmatic in Machiavelli statecraft. 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 Can justify the means. Pragmatic can justify the means. Any method, good or bad, justify if it ensures the safety of the state. Any method, good or bad, is justified if is safety for the state. If it ensures the safety of the if it ensures safety of the state. And justify any method good or bad is justified if it's safety for it if it is safety for it if it is safety for the state. Any method good or bad is justify if it ensures safety of the state. Virtue and fortuna. Virtue and fortuna. Virtue or fortuna. A successful ruler must possess virtue, ability, courage, and diligence to control fortuna, luck, and circumstances. Control luck and circumstances. A successful ruler must possess virtue, ability, courage, or intelligence for the maintain for main- for to control fortuna, luck and luck and luck and circumstances. Flexibility in action. Flexibility in action. The ruler must change policy according to situations, not follow flexible moral rule. Flexible, not follow fixed moral rule. Flexibility in action. Ruler must be change politics policies. Uh, policies. Ruler must be change policies according to situation. ठीक है उसका ruler must change policies according to situation, not 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 fixed policies, not follow fixed fixed stability, fixed moral rules, flexible action. Mueller must change must change policies. Must rulers must change policies. Ruler must change policies. Fear over love. Machiavelli people love fear over love, as as fear is more reliable for practical stability. Machiavelli prefer fear over love, fear over love, as fear is more reliable, as fear is more reliable, as fear is more as fear is more reliable. Evolution and criticism. Evolution and criticism. Moral justification of politics. Evaluation and criticism. Justification of politics. Moral justification of politics. Criticize, argue that Machiavelli promote impo- immorality and tyranny. Criticize evolution and criticism. Moral justification of politics. Moral justification of politics. Evolution and criticism. Evaluation and self-criticism. Moral justification of politics. Critics argue that Machiavelli promote immorality and tyranny. Moral justification of politics. Immoral justification of politics. Critics argue that Machiavelli Machiavelli promote immorality and tyranny, neglect of ethics, complete suppression of politics and complete suppression of politics and ethics is considered dangerous in modern democracy. Complete suppression of politics and ethics is danger for modern democracy. Danger ethics is considered danger in democracy. Danger in modern democracy. Political influence. Despite criticism, his ideas reflect political relativism, relative, realistic, realistic, realistics. Despite his ideas reflect political realities and influenced modern diplomacy and power and power and and In power politics, conclusion, Machiavelli's concept of statecraft is based on realism and and pragmatic concept of statecraft based on realism and pragmatism. Besides power, Machiavelli's concept of statecraft is based on realism and pragmatism. Besides power, efficiency, besides power, efficiency, and political necessity. Morally and conversational, through morally controversial, his idea leads the foundation of modern political science. Through morally controversial, his, his, his ideas leads the foundation of modern political science and realist practical theory and realist political theory. Machiavelli concept of statecraft is based on realism and pragmatism, especially on power, emphasize efficiency, power efficiency, and 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 political necessity through controversial controversial through morally, his idea is influence modern political science. His idea leads the foundation. His idea leads the foundation of modern political science. Modern and realistic political theory and realistic political theory. Neglect of ethics, evolution, criticism, failure of law, flexibility in action, virtue and can justify the means.